Hello and welcome to episode 1 of League One Transfer Show. In this show we'll be doing weekly episodes, or at least I'll try to, and I'll be discussing all the transfers from the previous 7 days and all the rumours going forward when it comes to League One transfers. I will be trying to get on as many guests as possible from other League One clubs to discuss their thoughts on their club's transfers or potentially outgoings to make it as inclusive as possible. I will try and cover as many of the transfers as possible, however I do have to just try and mention as many key ones as possible, purely because otherwise this video would go on for a very long time every week. So enough of the talk, I hope you enjoy, and let's get into the first episode of League One Transfer Show. So firstly we start off with my team, Cheltenham. And it's one that would come as a surprise to many in League One. A lot of Cheltenham fans, and probably from the players' perspective as well, it's very surprising. Curtis Davis. Cheltenham are the front runners to sign the free agent, of course, following the closure of his contract with Derby County after 6 years at the club, of course, previously of Hull, Aston Villa, Birmingham City as well in his prolonged career. He is 38 years old, bags of experience. He would join a fairly young dressing room, but that experience is definitely needed because I can only see us signing more young players this summer. He did play with Wade Elliott, of course, our manager, at Birmingham City during his career. And of course, he has got increasing media work, but he has come out and said he would like to try and play 1 or 2 more seasons. If he does come to us, it will probably be his last season in the Football League in his career. So fingers crossed he ends up at One Road, but it would be an absolutely massive signing for us. But only time will tell, it's completely up to the player. Moving on to another transfer rumour now, and that is goalkeeper Alex Bass, who is rumoured to be a transfer target for newly promoted and League 2 title winners Leyton Orient. Previously of League 1 side Portsmouth, the 25-year-old has had loan spells at Southend United and Bradford City in the last 2 years, most recently making his move to Championship side Sunderland. He is yet to make a first team appearance there, however has made multiple appearances for the under-21 side in the Premier League 2 2nd Division. Bradford City fans will tell you that he is a solid keeper, however he was prone to some mistakes and was a bit of a liability at times. However, as he matures with age, he is probably getting towards the peak of his career now. Leyton Orient fans will be hoping that he can pick up that Football League experience with them and improve and cut out those mistakes to show that there is a truly top quality goalkeeper in there. So will Alex Bass end up at Leyton Orient? At the time of recording this, there's not too much other information to say on it, but I think it's a realistic target for Orient and it would be a solid signing going forward. So then, staying in London, we head to the Vale and Charlton Athletic. It's been a busy first few weeks of the summer transfer window for them. Of course, just yesterday bringing in goalkeeper Harry Eisted, and then of course also other signings, the outgoings of goalkeeper Joe Walcott as well. Quick replacement in that aspect. Also eyeing up Ryan Tunnicliffe, previously of Portsmouth currently, and also Alfie May is still on the cards. Goodness knows where he's going to end up. Derby County still in the mix, I believe. Another few clubs are in there. Gillingham, one of the front runners as well. League 2 side, of course, would be a fantastic signing for them. But Charlton still hoping that that agreed fee, which did it happen, I don't know. We can't believe everything the media says. If it did happen, they'll be hoping that that is enough to get him in a Charlton Athletic shirt. I reached out to Josh, Charlton fan, and he gave me his thoughts on the incomings and outgoings and general transfer situation this summer at the Valley.
Hi guys, my name is Josh. I have a YouTube channel called Joshua Wilcox and I'm a Charlton fan, and Matt has kindly given me the chance to come on and talk about some transfer signings that we're making and rumours. First of all, Harry Eisted, obviously the first signing we've made, an incredible signing in my opinion. I'll keep it short and sweet. Do you know what? On loan at Barnsley, he looked very good. I watched him in the playoff final and played extremely well in that, so I'm quite happy with that signing. 2 other rumours that are floating about, one that's been ongoing for about a month now, and I know a lot of your viewers will know, Matt, Alfie May. 20 goals, 3 assists in just the league last season. This would be a very good signing for us. We need a striker that's not young, and Lee Burn's a very good striker, but he I don't know. I think he's got a little bit more to learn before he is our main striker. And also Freddie Ladapo, I've seen a few links today as well. I'd be very, very happy with him. 17 goals and 1 assist in the league last season as well. So they're sort of what I've noticed over the last couple of days. I hope that was all good for you, and I will see you later.
Thank you for your input, Josh. It is appreciated. Some valid thoughts there. Are Charlton going to be promotion hopefuls next season? I think if they continue in the same vein as they had at the start of the transfer window, I definitely think that they could be up there. At the time of filming this, I have had to recently add this to the list. Danny Andrew has signed for Cambridge United following a 4-year spell at Fleetwood Town. Of course, previously of Cheltenham, over the course of 4 years, had a permanent move and a loan spell with us. Had about 50 to 60 appearances, if I remember correctly, and was a solid player down that left side. For Cambridge, I think it's finally that solid replacement for left-back Jack Iredale, who, of course, left the Abbey Stadium last summer for Bolton Wanderers. He's very reliable, very solid player, attacking and defensively. He absolutely flies down that left wing, but also he's got a hell of a free kick on him. He reminds me a lot of how Chris Hussey was for us in his heyday. Very similar player, very good player at this level as well, and Cambridge definitely have a player on their hands. Fleetwood, we're sad to see him go, but of course 4 years at the club, they can't really complain, and he's going to be a key figure in Cambridge's hopes to stay up in League One for a third successive season. I reached out to Cambridge fan Alfie for his opinions on this signing, a big one in my opinion, and a very positive player going forward. Let's hear his thoughts.
Hello viewers of the Matt MS channel. Matt has kindly asked me to ask my thoughts of the new signing Danny Andrew. Now, he's a signing that probably isn't beneficial for Cambridge at this moment in time. He is a left back, and it's not exactly what we need. We need more attacking players this season, as the majority of the players left last season, like Smith, Nibbs. You know, literally our whole team left last season. So we need to bring attacking players in. However, I think throughout the season, he'll be very crucial because he is a left back that can run up and down the wings, provide chances. He can provide assists. He's done that for Fleetwood Town. He's done that for Doncaster, and he's done that for Grimsby. So he is a player that can benefit the U's very well. Also, Cambridge have never really had a set piece taker. It's meant to be very good at set pieces as well. So I think this will be a very good signing in the end. But for now, I'm not too keen on him, and I haven't really seen him play. But he is League One proven, so I can be happy about that. But yeah, overall, I think Danny Andrew is a good signing for Cambridge and will be beneficial in the later periods in the season. Obviously, it's only a 1-year deal, so we've only got him for this season. But overall, I think it's a very good deal. Thank you for having me on the channel, Matt. Appreciate it, mate.
Pretty much shares a similar opinion to me by the sounds of it. Thank you, Alfie, for coming on. His link to his channel will be in the description, as always. Today it was announced that Ryan Broome has completed the signing to Fleetwood following the closure of his contract with Charlton Town. He was offered another contract but chose to move up north to the seaside, to the Cods. Of course, this has been on the cards for, well, weeks if not months now, but of course it's only just been announced. Understandable with their off-the-pitch issues when it comes to ownership. We can make a whole nother video on that because there's a lot going on at Fleetwood, which there's a lot of question marks. But he's signed, sealed, delivered in a Fleetwood shirt on a 2-year contract. Last season, he picked up 40 league appearances for us, scoring just 2 goals, however, 2 very vital goals in the 1-1 draw away at Ipswich and the last gasp winner at home to Bolton Wanderers. He did also pick up 3 goals in our Papa John's Trophy run to the semi-finals. He was one of our better players in that competition. But last season, he just wasn't the same as he was in his first spell. Of course, he was fantastic with us. There's definitely a player in there. I'm not going to be toxic about it. He was solid at times for us last season. Didn't get played consistently in the position that he would have wanted to play in, so I always give him the benefit of the doubt. Ryan Broome is always a player that I defend. He was very good in his first spell and did show signs of class last season, but just not consistently enough. However, of course, I mean, you look at season before last, his loan spell at Plymouth. He was absolutely brilliant for them, and they narrowly missed out on the playoffs. So there's definitely a player in there, and if you can surround him with the correct players, which he will be joining the likes of Josh Vale in that midfield, Scott Robertson, there's definitely quality in that team to bring out the best in Ryan Broome. So my opinion is he will have a very strong impact for the COD Army next season under Scott Brown, and they can definitely be excited about this signing. Moving back down south now to Bristol Rovers, they have re-signed winger Luke Thomas on a 3-year deal following the closure of his contract at League One side Barnsley. Thomas made 86 appearances over the 4 years that he did spend at Barnsley, however a large portion of that was spent out on loan at the likes of Ipswich Town, etc. He was very good for them in his previous spell there. There's definitely a quality player there, of course. Did come from Cheltenham initially as well, so that's another name drop from a Cheltenham perspective as a Cheltenham fan. However, it's a big signing for Joey Barton's men, of course. They'll be hoping that this, and there are other signings that they have made, of course, James Wilson as well, which we will mention later on, and other players that they're rumoured to be signing. Of course, Giovanni Brown, an interesting one, of course, with his current situation and the topic of Joey Barton, but we won't go into that in this video. This could be a big transfer window for the Gas, and they'll definitely want to build towards next season because their end of last season was not the greatest. They had a great first half of the season. Of course, Collins absolutely banging in the goals. Got player of the season. Could be debatable, but he was fantastic in that first half of the season. But did end up finishing below us. They did do the double over us. They were a top-class side, but they did not end the season well, and they will be the first to admit that. Oxford United have secured the signing of 18-year-old goalkeeper James Beadle on loan for the season from Brighton and Hove Albion. Spending a short period of last season on loan at League 2 outfit Crewe, he truly showed how capable he is at senior football level, keeping 3 clean sheets in 9 games and pulling off countless acrobatic saves for all to see at that level. I mean, if 9 appearances and he was already tearing up trees in that Crewe side, which did finish lower to mid-table. Not the greatest of seasons for them, but definitely a glimpse of what's to come from the James Beadle perspective. It's another one through the door on top of countless signings that Oxford have already made, and it's another one where you could say Liam Manning's men could be pushing up towards those playoffs. Genuinely, if they continue this window, they are absolutely cooking. That they could be in with a shout next season. They definitely won't be towards the lower end of the table, that's for sure. Moving on then to one of the bigger sides in the league, let's talk Pompey. Now this is a side who have already made 6 summer signings this window. They have spent absolutely no time messing about from the get-go. They have made some fantastic signings, signing some big names that are definitely top quality at this level. You just simply drop the names: Anthony Scully, Christian Sadie, Ben Stevenson, of course, ex-Forest Green, so I don't like to say that. But, John Messino clearly knows what he's doing, and he's looking to freshen things up at Fratton Park next season, which is understandable. 7 successive seasons in this league. They want to get out. They're too big for this league, but ultimately, when they've spent this much time at this level, it wouldn't really surprise you if they didn't go up. However, if they continue in this vein with the transfer window, they're looking pretty solid. But it doesn't stop there for Pompey. They are still reportedly interested in winger Gavin White, of course Northern Ireland international, and also Tommy Lee, striker from Accrington Stanley, looking to sign him to team up with Colby Bishop, of course another ex-Accrington Stanley striker. Will they hold on to Colby Bishop? That's for another day to talk about. We'll see what happens with the stories with him. He's definitely a striker that's capable to step up maybe a division, but only time will tell. I reached out to Tom from 4-0 written all over it to get his thoughts on the transfer business this summer so far at Portsmouth.
Hey Matty, hope you're all good. Thank you for having me on the channel. I'm here to chat to you about Gavin White, who looks to be one of the upcoming transfer windows that is in the pipeline at Pompey, hopefully one that is still ongoing. I really like the look of him. I think he's really strong both on the left and the right hand side. We need cover in the wide areas, particularly attacking wingers. We've got kind of Anthony Scully arriving from Wigan, which we're all really excited about, and of course Paddy Lane out on the right wing, who really came into his own towards the back end of the season. Gavin White can also play as a kind of a linking the midfield into attacking, can play behind the striker as well. So he's an incredibly versatile player that I'm really hoping that we can pick up. I think it'd be a really impressive move, and perhaps a move that we probably need the most at the moment in terms of someone who can just come in. We've got some great central midfielders, the likes of Marlon Pack and Joe Morrell, who I know you know through his time at Cheltenham. I'm sure you remember him. Those are 2 world-class talents. Plus Terry Devlin, who's a new arrival. Tommy Lowry, brilliant assurance in midfield. But just that one step in front, that attacking midfield role, I think Gavin White could slot into really nicely. And as I say, both wings, he's more than capable as well. So that is something to hopefully keep an eye on and look forward to seeing if and when that gets announced and if that deal gets any closer, really hoping that is the case. Wanted to touch on Tommy Lee as well. I think it's quite a similar profile to Gavin White, really. He's obviously Pompey born and bred, Tommy Lee, and he went away to go and play his football up north. We know there's interest from Preston as well, and believed to be a little bit of a contractual issue in terms of coming to an agreement which benefits both club and player. So hopefully that can be sorted out soon. Again, very excited to see how he could operate in that number 10 role for Pompey, and the link up with Colby Bishop as well, because let's not forget they were incredibly fruitful when they were together and they were enjoying their football at Accrington. So hopefully we can see the recombination of both Colby and Tommy Lee. I think that's something to get Pompey fans off their seats and really start getting excited for this upcoming season. Keep up the great work on the channel, mate. Thanks for having me on again, and I look forward to seeing the rest of the video.
Thanks for that, Tom. Much appreciated. Very valid thoughts. Again, we only get people that talk facts on this channel. You know that by now. But Tom, once again, his link will be down in the description. Top vlogs and some top videos in general as well. Very knowledgeable guy, and it's fair to say he's going to enjoy a great season at Fratton Park next season, like I say, if they continue with these signings, because seriously, they are not messing about. The last one that we are going to talk in depth about this week is Dan Nlundulu to Bolton Wanderers. Signs a permanent contract there for 3 years, and Ian Everett has always been a big fan of Dan. Of course, he's shown interest pretty much since the start of his loan spell at Cheltenham last season. I remember when we played them at home, first player that he dragged for a chat on the pitch, and after the game as well, outside the dressing rooms, had a long conversation with Dan and clearly had intent to bring him in from the early stages. Of course, brought him in January, and following a positive second half to the season up north, he has put pen to paper on that 3-year deal that I was talking about. A big statement from Bolton, but also a big chance for Dan Nlundulu to advance his career after what can only be said is a few slightly underwhelming loan spells. I think he could have definitely done better than he did. There's definitely a player in there, but there is certain flaws. I mean, we talk about the positives with Dan Nlundulu, and it's easy to say from a Charlton fan's perspective because we've seen it in abundance. A strong man on the ball, fantastic when it comes to dribbling on the ball. I mean, he could beat any player on his day. His passing is great. Striker's instinct is there for all to see. I mean, you look at the performance at Exeter away last season, he was absolutely brilliant. Port Vale away, another one, he really performed well that day. However, I have to say it, and a lot of people will agree, but some won't like to hear it, is his attitude. Now, I think it's great for a player to show passion in abundance. However, he doesn't channel the passion in the greatest of ways. I think towards the end of his loan spell with us, it was showing signs of maturity and going away, and I think he was starting to kind of get on top of that now. I haven't watched every Bolton game this season, so Bolton fans, comment down below. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But I think at times he does get a bit het up. He did end the season well for Bolton, of course, got a goal at Bristol Rovers away, and no doubt will have probably improved in this aspect as seen towards the end of last season, like I say, but it's a big change, and I can understand the pressure he's feeling. He's 24 years old, he's wanting to prove himself, and I think next season is huge for him. I wish him the best, but only time will tell. Bolton are going to be competing at the top next season. Will he get into the squad much? We'll have to wait and see. So then, let's just touch on some of the other signings that have been made this week. I can't talk about all of them, unfortunately, because I won't have time, but we will speak about them briefly. Curtis Nelson joins Derby County as a free agent. Also, Joe Ward signs, following the closure of his contract, at Peterborough United to Derby County. That's another great signing. 2 fantastic players through the door there. Another statement of intent from another side that is going to be wanting to compete at the top next season. Is it Derby season to get automatics? Looking at their squad, the loss of David McGoldrick to Notts County, loss of certain loanees, they still need to do more this window, I think, to get into that automatic spot. I think there's definitely other teams that probably have more ability to do so on paper, but we'll have to wait and see. They'll definitely be up there. They have a quality fan base, they're a big club, and they definitely have the players so far to build on with the rest of this window and do so. Now, this is a big one, and one that I did want to talk about as one of the main talking points in this video, but I felt that I would leave it out to talk a little bit about towards the end, and that's what I'm going to do. Goalkeeper Connor Ripley from relegated and now League 2 side Morecambe to Port Vale. Now, obviously, we're still in the market for Luke Salford, and hopefully we get him. However, he was a name that was on my list if we want to get Luke Salford. Great goalkeeper, fantastic goalkeeper. Was brilliant for Morecambe last season, despite them getting relegated. I think it was very harsh on him, and he definitely deserves to be playing League One football. proved towards the sea. Great shot stopper. Very, very reliable. There's not really too many flaws, to be perfectly honest. I think his distribution is good. He's got good vision going forward when it comes to clearing his lines and finding, players out on the wing and in the midfield. And I think it's a fantastic signing for Port Vale. And it's another statement player, really, because they had a great season last season, their first season back in League One. And I think they could do it again next campaign. This signing really is a positive one for them. And I am ever so slightly jealous, but if we get Luke Southwood, I won't be. Another signing now for Bristol Rovers, and that is James Wilson from promoted Plymouth Argyle following the closure of his contract down in Devon. Another great player at this level and will definitely have an impact for Bristol Rovers. And like I said, Joey Barton is starting to really build a solid League One squad now. And if they can get those other players that I mentioned through the door that haven't yet been announced or haven't yet been signed at the time of filming this, they could be dark horses next season. That's a bold claim, but this is another very promising signing for them. Let me know your thoughts, Gas fans. Another mention of a Devon club, but this time Exeter City. They have signed Eastleigh fullback Vincent Harper on a 2-year deal with, I believe, an option to extend a further year. Did very well for Eastleigh in the National League. It's a big step up. However, there's several players that have proved that a step up from the National League to League One it's definitely doable when it comes to players being able to do it. I think if you're excelling at that level, you can definitely do so in League 2 level, but also League 1 at a stretch. I mean, you look, Ruben Rodriguez signed for Oxford. He's no doubt going to pull up trees there. He's an unbelievable player. So yeah, I think Vincent Harper is a very solid signing for them in that left-back spot, and I wish him the best. It is a big step up, but from a neutral perspective, I don't really have a positive or negative opinion on Exeter. I hope that that's the kind of player that will do well for you next season. And finally, we close it with my team, Cheltenham again. We started it and ended it with my team. And that is Rob Street from Crystal Palace, of course, the expiration of his contract. We will be signing him on a 3-year deal as reported by John Palmer, and that will probably be announced later this week. So I thought I'd touch on that because it's a bit of a rumour, but at the same time, it's pretty much happened. He's been at training, he's been doing the fitness test, the medical is all done, and everything has gone swimmingly. The announcement should be following towards the end of this week, in the words of journalist John Palmer. So that does conclude this week's episode of League One Transfer Show. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed, and I do hope you will join us next week for the next episode. Let me know what transfers I missed, and also your opinions on the ones that I have spoken about. Thank you to all those that contributed to this video. Catch their links in the description. Go subscribe, all that good stuff. And see you again next week. Have a class rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.